title. Feeling good, feeling great. Feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I'm your host, DCMD, aka St. Dusume Jr. Friday, not necessarily the last Timeline T, but the last one for a little bit. Won't be live streaming directly every single day. Boogie down in the house early. What's good, Brody? What's good, Brody? Oh, man. It's been quite the week. Quite the last couple of weeks. You see Boogie down? I found a way to get some NFL in here. You know what I'm saying? It's not all NBA all the time. But glad you could pull up. Glad you could be a part of it. So as you see, Skip Bayless is on a hiatus. We have all the reasons why he's on that hiatus. It's kind of hard to yell and scream when you don't have a brother sitting across from you. Allegedly. Okay. The Blazers have finally told us what they want in return for Damian Lillard. We kind of have already guessed this without even being insiders, but now we have insiders doing their job and they're finally reporting back what the Blazers want. And also, I came across a list, and I was hoping Boogie Down will pull up because it is an NFL topic. Best number 2 wide receiver in the league. There's some choices. We will go over that. Boogie Down. What do you think of all those layouts at ESPN? What do you think all those layouts at ESPN were all about? Or did you discuss it already? I did discuss it, but it's still pertinent. We could definitely have that discussion. You weren't here that day, so feel free. Let me know what you think. I'll definitely open that up once I bring the music down and all that. Ante Music, what's good, bro? What's good? Glad you could pull up here on a Friday. All right, let's go ahead and slide right into it. We'll bring down the bed. Musical production done by May 1st Music. Support him at soundcloud.com/May 1st Music. But to answer Boogie Down, what do you think all those layouts at ESPN were about? Trimming the fat. And unfortunately, when you're throwing big bags and like major big bags at the Mannings for the Manning cast, when you're bringing in, who else I got over there? McAfee, obviously, you know, and also the Monday Night Football squad. Buck and Aikman don't come cheap. Okay, so when you combine all those breads, Aikman and Buck, McAfee, when you just add all the people that they have brought in to kind of boost up their content base, yeah, that means we got to trim the fat. So that means, yeah, Steve Young, you got to go. You know, who was the QB? Hasselbeck? I forgot he was even there. We got Orlovsky, and he's been killing it from a content perspective with the NFL live show with Mina Kimes and Ryan Clark. Okay, Hasselbeck, you can go. I think that Van Gundy and Jalen Rose were the 2 big high-profile names, but I think they have internal replacements for those guys as well. You know, we're already hearing that J.J. Redick, who's turned himself into a star just by being the young guy that's fighting old guys on TV like Stephen A. and Mad Dog, just by proxy of him being, you know, under 40, he's now potentially going to be giving opportunity to be a part of the team with Mike Breen and Mark Jackson. You think you got Big Perk, who could slide in there. Stephen A. likes him. And Stephen A. essentially runs that NBA Countdown show. If you're on that show, it's because Stephen A. wants you to be on that show. Now, Jalen was a holdover from the prior iterations of NBA Countdown. So now Stephen A. can have full control over how that show looks and all of that. And now you're bringing Big Perk, allegedly, to fill that spot. This is all speculation on my part, but just knowing the industry like I know it, that's kind of how things go, where if they have an internal replacement that is cheaper, they're probably going to find a way, and they need to create some room, they're going to push you out. So I won't go too much more into it than that, just from the space of, I'm not there. But as someone that's in the industry and kind of knows a good deal about how the bread goes and how contracts go and all of that, yeah, to me, it's kind of a simple thing of, well, we have someone who is better, younger, and cheaper than you. So, yeah. And like Steve Young literally only worked, on the Monday Night Football package. Yeah, that was it. Like, he wasn't doing no stand-up hits with Van Pelt. He wasn't popping in on, any of these other shows. He would just pull up and do his duties for Monday Night Football, and that was it. So how much is that worth to you? And can you say, is anyone tuning in because Steve Young is about to break it down? Like I said last week when we talked about it. You notice they didn't touch Tim Legler. You know they can't touch Tim Legler because he's a former player. So he comes with cachet, instant credibility. And better than all the other ones that they had come through there and that are still there, he can break down the game with analysis. And that's why you see on the NFL side, you see they ain't touch Ryan Clark or Orlovsky. Now, you might not agree with everything Orlovsky says or even Ryan Clark, but they know their shit. Those dudes are invaluable. Because, yeah, they give you the credibility. Oh, look, we got all these former players. But then it's the additional cachet of, and they're actually good. Having a former player, for some reason, makes people, casuals or just people, think, oh, this show must be good. This guy used to play. Or this woman used to play. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that they're entertaining. That doesn't mean that they have a personality. That doesn't even mean that they have real good knowledge of the game. It just means they play. So there is a certain cachet there where if you are a player, you're good money. But if you're a player and you're actually good, you're really good. Like Vince Carter. They're not going to renew Vince Carter. Vince Carter was a great player. He was a superstar. But how many of y'all have actually heard Vince Carter say anything during his career? Or can you remember anything poignant or striking that Vince Carter said during his career? I can't think of it. Great player. Loved this game. The dunks and shit and just his overall ability as a guy that came out of UNC and, killed in the league. Great player. Hall of Famer. But in terms of analysis, I didn't get it. In terms of, building a platform around VC, I didn't understand it. Now, I'm not saying you don't give him a chance. But are you really that surprised it didn't work? Steve Young, again, during his playing career, I don't remember him saying anything outside of that one clip from the Super Bowl of "Get That Monkey Off My Back," which could be problematic in that sport. But we'll just let it slide, right? But the bottom line is, do you recall him X's and O's, breaking something down and giving you a different perspective? That's what the athlete, that's what the athlete is supposed to bring to your broadcast. A different perspective, a fresh viewpoint. Explain this to us. We're trying to understand why this happened. You played at this level. You played well at this level. Can you deduce what just happened? And a lot of the times, they can't. Because that's a different skill set. Getting to the NBA is one thing. Getting to the NFL is one thing. Staying there is another thing. Being elite there is a whole nother thing. And then on the other side of that, knowing how to deduce what happened, what you saw, what the other team was trying to do, how you counteracted it, so on and so forth, and knowing how to explain that succinctly, that a casual can tune in, listen, watch, and understand, that's a skill too. Just because you nice don't mean you know how to break the shit down either. So to me, it's like they had to pay for all the entities that they've been bringing in. McAfee is coming with a lot of bread, okay? Then you have the Manning cast and all the stuff that they're doing. That's coming in with a lot of bread. And now you have, Buck and Aikman to anchor their Monday Night Football package, which is still a big moneymaker for them. So when you add all that bread up, yeah. Susie Colbert, yeah. Vince Carter, yeah. Keyshawn, Max Kellerman, Jay Will, yeah. Like, y'all gotta go. Like, they're hitching their bread. They're putting the bread into the guaranteed, quantities that are already working. ESPN, from a talent standpoint, is really not trying to build a star. They're willing to pay bread for ready-made stars and amplify them with their power. That's why McAfee got the bag that he got. You think ESPN is on YouTube looking at these streams trying to find the next star? They're not. Until you make a name for yourself and run the numbers up. McAfee was doing, $500,000 every stream. That gets those types of networks' attention. So, ultimately it comes down to the power structure there. The powers that be said, trim that budget. And when you start looking around at, well, we just gave the Mannings all this bread. We can't cut that. We just brought McAfee and we can't cut that. We got Buck and Aikman. We can't cut that. All right, but who can we cut? All right, Vince Carter. Yeah, we are not going to renew that. Susie Colbert, you've been here forever. You're an OG. Can't do that. Neil Everett, can't do that. Hasselbeck, can't do that. Jalen, you've been here forever. You carved out a lane. You've taken your bread and have done positive things with it, but we got Perk in the tuck and he's cheaper. Jeff Van Gundy, you've been part of this A team that has, solidified. We've ignored the Mark Jackson thing being blackballed because of him being part of this A team with you and Breen. Yeah, but we can get JJ Redick in there for the low. And he'll jump at the opportunity. Because we still got Breen and we still got Mark Jackson. You were kind of the ornery guy in the middle that complained about everything. Maybe that didn't sit well with our league partners. So we could get you up out of there, bring in JJ, who will be more of a company man, more of a league man, and he's for the cheap. Business. Untamed. Jalen Waddle, 100%, no competition. Okay, we will get there. We will get there. Hold that. I'll even star that so I know to go back to that. Boogie down. They really kept Mad Dog. That dude doesn't know anything. His takes sound so bad. No, his takes is of a white man of a certain age. That's pretty much, what? Mad Dog's what, 60-something? Damn near 70? For full disclosure, I worked at a couple of places with Mad Dog. I worked at WFAN back in the day, and I worked at SiriusXM. I actually interned on Mad Dog's show way, way back in the day. So I can tell you, he knows what he knows, but it's mainly from his youth and his prime as an adult. And if you really look at it, that's most of us. Most of us, we know if you're really into sports, you get locked into sports in your teenage years throughout your adulthood, right? To a certain level. I can't guarantee you at 60 years old, I'm going to be out here trying to find, who's coming into the G League. I can't guarantee you that I'm going to be on that type of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might have to wait for whoever to make the league, and then I'll discover him at that point and then try to get up to speed if I still give a damn like that. That's kind of what these dudes are doing right now. You think Mad Dog is looking at G League highlights? Like, he's not. He's waiting for draft day, and then he sees Scoot Henderson, and he's like, oh, shit. Like, that's just how that works. Like, I'm not surprised, because a man of his age, you don't have that same hunger and drive to go ahead and, be all up in the mix like that. Like, as we transition here to talk about Skip Bayless, he's one of the few that allegedly puts in the work to kind of try to stay in the game like people our age. Like, he has no other life except this. He's admitted as such. What up, Snoop? Mad Dog is Skip Bayless' evil twin. Mad Dog might say that's the other way around. Boogie down. Because I'll just say this, only because if you recall, the whole Mad Dog thing has been popping since the 80s. Skip didn't pop on TV until late 90s, early 2000s. So, anywho, Boogie down. Mad Dog Def has that older white guy conservative mindset with sports. He def isn't fond of QBs that look and play like Lamar. Obviously, I see where you're going. I'm not going to say no, but I'm also not going to say yes. I think, again, someone of that age, if they're not forward thinking, I mean, he's still out here arguing about how great Bob Cousy is. He's still arguing about John Havlicek. He's still out here talking about Jerry West is like one of the GOATs. Like, so, I mean, it's just certain things that if you, and again, you got to understand this stuff is entertainment, right? As we transition to Scoop. To Skip, excuse me. So, like, this stuff that they put on TV is for entertainment purposes, right? Most of it, I would say 85 to 90% of it is purely just entertainment. It's not to actually inform us as viewers, right? So, Mad Dog has a lane. Mad Dog's lane is to be, like, you know, Boogie Down said, to be a conservative, older white guy. That's his lane. Like, that's how he gets off. That's how he, because again, where else you gonna find that? On TV. On TV, you mostly have middle-aged to younger people. You have people in their, you know, late 20s to early 40s, maybe 50s. That's as terms of like a debater. Now, with guys like Skip and guys like Mad Dog, we're pulling dudes that are straight in their 60s and 70s and giving them a mic. What do you think's going to come out their mouth if they want to entertain the public? Because they don't want to hear LeBron is this, LeBron is that. They're going to talk about, in my day, back in my day, Bob Cousy was him. Back in my day, Kareem was him. And they're going to argue tooth and nail because they were having those debates back then. Like, debate culture on TV was a late 90s, early 2000s thing, but debating in sports has been evergreen as hell. It's been infinite. Every era, there's been debates. It's just this era that we're in, the last 20 years, you could argue maybe 30 years, TV has really pushed that debate on camera. So now we have all these shows that are doing more or less the same things. Let's get two people. You like this thing. This guy doesn't like that thing. And let's see y'all clash. Who can win the debate? And it's all for entertainment. It's never to inform you as an audience. It's not like, well, let's argue, but let's have the argument actually teach people what's going on. It's just, no, I'm going to say and do anything to win this debate. If I have to yell, if I have to scream, if I have to be like Jalen and pull out your high school stats or your JV stats to win an argument, I'm going to do that. It's not really about, well, this is really what's happening in the game. Let's break it down. It's, oh, you said what? That's crazy. All right, let me air son out. And that's what we have on all these networks, on cable television. Now it's bleeding into streaming networks. These sports books are popping up and they got people on laptops and they're yelling at each other through laptops now. And then you take it to social media. I mean, that's basically the whole purpose of social media is to just find people that agree with you and y'all all tear down someone who doesn't agree with y'all. That's social media in a nutshell. So it's just unfortunate. But that's what it is. Instead of, edutainment, where it's education and entertainment, it's just purely entertainment, embrace debate, fuck education. Who cares about that? Education doesn't, it happened with Bomani Jones, but Bomani Jones' show just got canceled, right? On HBO. It was seen as a smart sports show, right? Because Bomani is known for his intelligence and his high acumen, so on and so forth. But he's also entertaining, but he's not Stephen A. entertaining. He's not Shannon Sharp entertaining. He's not loud, bombastic, over the top. He's going to kill you with his wit. It's going to be subtlety. It's going to be cultural jabs. Let's be real. Minorities, at least Black Americans, are only still 13 to 15% of this country. That's not enough TVs to be able to tap into what you're doing. You're going to have people that don't look like you understand and be on your same wavelength. And that's the game. It's easier for people that don't look like Bomani to go with the flow when Stephen A. is yelling and screaming or talking like he's preaching. That resonates. When Unc pulls out the Hennessy and the Black and Milds and all of that, and he's low-key shucking, that translates to people that don't look like Shannon Sharp. That gets them to come back. The intelligent bro that's just breaking it down, this is why this is, and calling out stuff, depends on how you feel that day. And if you don't agree with him, you're going to really not agree with him. You don't agree with Shannon Sharp, it's fine, but he's Unc, he's funny. He'll come on wearing the LeBron GOAT mask tomorrow, and I'll forget about what made me mad about him today. But with the intelligent bro, you don't get that. Snoop, I didn't know that. I'm a late 80s baby. You told me something just now. Hey, that's kind of why I'm here, bro. That's kind of why, I've been in the media shit for about 15 years. But yeah, about 15 years. And I've worked in a bunch of radio stations, a bunch of TV stations, and some streaming companies. So you just kind of pick up stuff as you go along the way. So salute. I just assumed Scoop is here first because he's been more popular during my life. No, that's facts though. And that's why it's actually funny when you look at it, right? With Skip. And then you compare it to Mad Dog. Mad Dog had a huge radio show up here in New York, right? Mike and the Mad Dog. That was a big show. That was probably the first sports talk show that resonated nationally, right? That's late 80s, okay? So at this time, Skip is a reporter in Dallas, I believe, covering the Cowboys. He was a columnist for the Dallas Morning Star, I think. And yeah, all of that, right? So Mad Dog has been doing this shtick since, you say you're a late 80s baby? Since you've been born, Mad Dog's been on that type of time, Snoop. So just imagine that. So imagine when, the debate culture takes off and Skip is seen as the guy. Mad Dog was not happy. A lot of guys that were moving around here on that sports radio wave, yelling and screaming it into microphones throughout the late 80s into the 90s, were looking at Skip like, he's doing our shtick. He's doing what we've been doing. And then slowly you started to see TV cameras being put inside radio studios and simulcasting it. Because why am I going to pay millions of dollars for Skip, put him up in a TV studio, all of this, when I could just go to the radio station, put up a couple of, GoPro looking cameras in the corner of the studio, shoot that, and then just put that on TV. So my overhead, if you're thinking it from a business perspective, my overhead is, I pay for the little cameras. I'll pay for a little small crew on the TV side to produce it. I'll throw some money, not a lot. I'll throw some money at the radio people, but Radio people historically don't get paid well, so they'll take any type of extra bread. That's a win-win. So why go find the next Skip when I could just go put cameras in all these radio stations to just fire in? And that's why you see today, you see a lot of radio shows that are being simulcasted. It's cheap and it's easy. Untamed. I want Iguodala was entertaining. Yeah, Iguodala's out here. He has a podcast. I've checked it out a couple of times. It's okay. I think the problem with athlete podcast is once you run out of stories from the locker room, what else you got? Like, it's cool because you're getting access, right? Like that's the whole point of having an athlete, be talent. They're going to give the athlete point of view, the athlete perspective. They're going to give you untold stories, behind the scenes looks. Great, right? That content can be educational if delivered correctly, right? But what if it's just, I'm going to just call up and just have all the players I know just come on the show? And we're not going to be critical of players, but we're just going to act like everybody's all friendly and happy and, you have a product, well, just come on my pod, promote your product, and, I get what I want, which is clicks. You get what you want, which is promo, and away we go. How long are you going to be entertained by that? I hate when Shannon pull out that liquor and cigar. I cringe so hard. I mean, but I wish I could tell you some of the stuff that goes in the group chats of people that I have worked with in media or whatever. It's a love-hate thing. Like, we know what he's trying to do, and it's not to say that we don't know people that aren't like that. However, when you understand the network you on, the person you're sitting across from, and who more than likely is in the audience, that's where the issue lies. That's where the issue lies. Untamed. My homie's girlfriend's dad works with Skip, says he does a line before work. He would not be the first in this industry that requires certain things to get through a show. I was doing the weekend shift when I was at Sirius XM, right? Pretty sure statute of limitations is up, but if not, then oh well. So I was working a shift. I was working on NBA radio at the time, right? NBA radio. Doing a weekend show. Show was done. It's maybe 4 PM on a Sunday. Go to the bathroom before I head out. And as I'm at the urinal and I'm walking away, I just so happened to look down. Something caught my eye when I was walking away from the urinal. As I looked down, it was a bag of powder. Just laying right there on the floor. And this was not the celebrity bathroom. This was just the bathroom for employees only. So somebody needed a little pick-me-up before a Sunday afternoon shift. Untamed. Nah, I was talking about what Max Kellerman said. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Max is Max should just do boxing. Max should just do boxing. I mean, I never cared about Max's opinions outside of boxing. It just never resonated to me. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. Snoop. That's the thing I don't like. People like Skip and Rich Eisen who act like the moral police. I know they have skeletons. We all do. Yeah, Rich Eisen, since he has left ESPN, has been A wee bit different than what he was or what he was portraying himself to be when he was on ESPN. So, yeah. Untamed is just something I wasn't waiting to hear. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with man, I can't wait to be able to just tell y'all some real shit. But okay, all right. So I think coming across all the different companies that I've been across has been one thing in common. Big names trumps everything, right? If you're a big name, you will get chance after chance after chance to sink or swim. And even if you drown, they will bring you back up to surface, resuscitate you, and throw you back into the deep end of the pool. So that's why, like someone like Max, he has a name. Now, to me, that name was built off the strength of his boxing knowledge. But at some point, he crossed over and he was able to show that he can also hold his own with other sports. To me, not that great, but because he had personality with his boxing stuff, he tried to use some of that when he talked about other sports, and I guess that was enough at the time. But ultimately, as we've seen people just be better than him and have more of a personality than him, he just began to be less and less important and relevant. I mean, dog, when they put you on that early morning radio show shift, that's the kiss of death, bro. I can tell you, working in this industry, you get that early morning shift, it takes years off your life. It takes years. You got 3 a.m. wake-up calls. These shows start at 6, 7 o'clock. You're up at 3. You're up at 3. You're out the door by 4. You're at the studio by 4:35. And if it's a TV show and a radio show, you got to get hair and makeup done. You got to go over your topics, got to go over your scripts. You got to go. I don't miss those days. I was on a few shows early morning. I was like, yo, get me off this shit, bro. And I was just behind the scenes producing, like, get me off this shit, bro. Stupid, who is your pick for Shannon replacement? Well, we know it's going to be a black guy, right? Because clearly he's not trying to work with someone who is not black. So let's just go ahead and get into it, right? So Skip Bayless is taking a 2-month hiatus because he struggles to replace Shannon Sharpe. Quote, Shannon's exit moved way faster than they expected, so they had no choice but to go on hiatus. Skip has never done anything like this during all his years at FS1 or ESPN. Not being on the air during all these NBA moves is killing him. A source added, quote, this was so dumb. They had the best partner. There are 3 stars in morning debate. Skip, Stephen A., and Shannon. And Fox had 2 of them. And then get your generic pick here. And there is a lot of truth to a lot of what's been said, right? But let's get into... let me move this over a little bit. The real reason why Skip Bayless Undisputed is taking 2 months off. They have gone through a lot of names already. Keyshawn Johnson and Max Kellerman are in the mix. LaShawn McCoy, Nick Wright, Emmanuel Acho, and Joy Taylor are in the mix. Now, we've also seen reports of Lil Wayne potentially going to be more involved in the show. What the hell does that mean? I have no idea. Okay? And you see, Mans is out here. LeBron isn't the only one in the lab this summer. Can't wait to unveil Undisputed just in time for football season. This is also another dirty secret. A lot of big shows don't care about the summer. Once NBA free agency is done, the big shows, the big time host, they do not want to work because they don't want to have to sit here and be forced to talk about baseball until football starts. So, yes, he's taking a hiatus and he wants to be part of the NBA stuff, but he also knows, after James Harden does or doesn't get moved, after Damian Lillard trade to Miami or wherever else goes down, there is absolutely nothing else to talk about. until something happens big in NFL training camps. It's nothing. So there's going to be like a little 6-week period where it's going to be dead vibes out here. And Skip don't want no piece of that. A lot of the top tier talent plan their vacations around this time of the year. This is just what it is. So who do I think will replace Shannon Sharpe? I don't think it'll be one person. I think it'll be a combination. I think much like Stephen A kind of has an ensemble cast of people that comes in there on their sport of expertise. Like some days you come in there and it was Jay Williams. Some days you come in there and it's JJ Redick. Some days you come in there and it's Ryan Clark. Some days you go in there and it's Dominique Foxworth or Mad Dog. Like just an ensemble of rotating dudes. If I'm Skip Bayless or if I'm Fox Sports 1's management, that's what I copy. I mean, all this shit is copy and paste anyway. So why not? Stephen A is First Take. And then he has whoever he wants pull up and be a part of it. Undisputed with Shannon gone is Skip Bayless. So why not have a bunch of rotating people come through there? You can have Joy Taylor. You can have Nick Wright. You can have Acho. You can have Shady. All these dudes for one day, maybe two max, are okay. 5 days a week of Skip and Acho. I mean, I don't watch the show anyway. Even when Shannon was there, I wasn't watching the show. But if you're now trying to sell me on Acho and Skip 5 days a week, there's no way in hell I'm watching that. If you're telling me Nick Wright and Skip, no way in hell I'm watching that. 5 days a week, no way. Shady, Joy Taylor, no offense to them, but 5 days a week, I'm not watching that. But if you're telling me we got Shady on Mondays to talk football, Tuesdays we got Acho to talk more football after the Monday night game, you're telling me we got Nick and Joy on Wednesdays and Thursdays to talk about whatever else is going on, baseball, basketball, whatever else. And then maybe on a Friday, you bring in Weezy F Baby. I'm not mad at that. I'm still not watching, but that's an easier sell. But if you're telling me one of these people have to be the person every single day across from Skip, none of these people mentioned in this article fit the bill, in my opinion. Y'all let me know. Do y'all want one person opposite Skip 5 days a week? Or do you think they should copy the First Take model and just have a bunch of rotating people rolling up in there every day of the week? Yeah, if you're talking about Shannon Sharpe, I don't know if anyone does fill his shoes. On that show, your job on that show is you're going to be fodder for Skip. And I think Shannon was willing to do it early on because he wanted to get his rep up and he wanted to get better at this commentating thing, right? But once he got into his bag and he started to establish himself, Shannon's confidence came out. And we know how confident he was as a player. He now had that similar type confidence now as a commentator. That don't fly right with Skip. Skip's got to be the one. And you're not 1A, you're 2 or 3 or 4. Even though there's only 2 of you, he's 1, you're 4. That's what it is in Skip's mind. He's the show. You're here to ride coattails. So out of these names, who is going to be the one to ride coattails? I don't think any of these people would do well across from Skip 5 days a week. But one day, maybe 2 days, I could see that. But in terms of, every day, not the people we've been privy to. Now, they may pull out somebody that might be, off the rails. They might pull a wild card name out there and be like, oh shit, like low key. And I think he's already signed with somebody else, but why wouldn't they go get Whitlock? Again, I'm not watching it. But if you really want to embrace debate, if you really want to take it up a notch, why not go get somebody like Whitlock? Go get somebody like Whitlock and really turn shit up. Again, I'm not watching it. So to me, it doesn't really matter who is sitting across from Skip. I'm only going to find out from the timeline or y'all telling me here in the chat. Lil Wayne should hop on. No, Lil Wayne is going to be a part of it. Lil Wayne is going to be heavily involved. Again, I don't know what heavily involved means, but he's in the mix. Scrub Zero, what's good, man? Happy Friday. What did you miss? Oh, man. Oof. We've been airing out. Damn. Where did we start? Well, we talked about the ESPN layoffs, and then we've transitioned from that into your man Skip Bayless in the hiatus. So, yeah, y'all let me know. I think the first take model right now works really well because as this quote said, there's only 3 stars. Allegedly. I think there's more than 3, but in terms of household names to a certain level, it is just these 3, Skip, Stephen A, and Shannon. So if you have Skip, you're not going to have anybody else on his level across from him if the only 3 are Stephen A and Shannon, right? So if it's just Skip, then why not have a rotating crew of an ensemble cast, much like Stephen A has? Why not? It's easier, it's simpler. You know who's coming in on what day and what their strengths are. It's easy. Because let's be real. Even when Shannon would talk basketball, I mean, we weren't really rolling with his basketball analysis like that, were we? I mean, I know I wasn't. I know he felt because he used to hoop in high school and he was allegedly nice that's supposed to give him some sort of bona fides or whatever, some sort of resume. But I mean, I'm tuning in or I'm checking out the clips on social when he's talking football. If he wasn't talking football, I would tune like, okay, he does a LeBron shit. He's a LeBron stan. Then he had to ship it to Grizzlies during the season, whatever. That was fun. That was funny. But in terms of analysis, I'm not tuning in for that. Like if it's football shit, okay, let me hear what he has to say. Because he was an elite player, a Hall of Fame player, and he can actually talk about the game and break shit down. Cool. That's his skill set. Perfect. But when they would talk about anything else, it's like, all right, dogs, like, I'm good. I'm good. Scub Zero, LaShawn McCoy wouldn't even work with Skip effectively for a day. Damn, okay. I mean, I think he would do the shucking and jiving. I think he would do it. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't, though. I don't say, well, why do you think he wouldn't work? Because he's just a name player? Like, obviously, Shady's been trying to get in the mix for a minute, right? He's been popping on podcasts and all that stuff, and now he's transitioning into TV. I can't say I've heard anything special in terms of his analysis, but in regards to personality, I mean, he's got a little personality. He talks a little tough, Untamed. Shannon was just a fanboy, low key. Not the high key. Like he's a LeBron stan, and that worked with Skip because we know how Skip. And again, let me come off camera for this. It is entertainment when Skip talks about LeBron. He knows if he just like Nick Wright, who's on this list, right? Nick Wright's on this list, and I've talked about Nick Wright here a lot. Nick Wright built his entire career of having the wild take of LeBron's better than Jordan. And he has skyrocketed to the top with that wild take. You can look it up. That's when his profile jumped up. It wasn't because, he put in mad years and just earned it and grinded. No, he just jumped out the window and the take stuck. To the opposite of that, Skip is anti-LeBron. Because he knows that y'all devour LeBron content. So it's easy for him. I'm going to be the bad guy. I'm going to hate the guy that everybody likes. It's a fake contrarian complex. So Nick Wright went the other way. I'm going to be super fanboy for LeBron. I'm going to have the take of everyone thinks Jordan's the GOAT. I'm going to say the next guy is better than the current guy. That's going to be my lane. And I'm going to find every stat imaginable that works for me in my argument and ignore all the other stats that are counterproductive to it. That's how this shit goes. Scrub Zero. Yeah, Shannon Sharp wasn't really holding it down with anything that wasn't football. Yeah, that's just not his bag. That's not his bag, bro. Yeah, it's not his bag. And I don't shade him for it, but it's like, all right, man, like after a while, it's kind of like that's the great part about this era of content. You can pick and choose who you watch. Back in the day, like late 90s, like you really only had ESPN. That's why these dudes blew up, because that was really the only outlet like that. So all those dudes, I used to know all the Sports Center anchors, because if you're a sports fan, you only watched ESPN because that was more or less the only thing to watch. Now in this era, you literally have independent shit like here on YouTube, but even here on YouTube, you can watch ESPN on YouTube. You can watch Fox on YouTube. Anywhere you go, you can devour content of your own choosing. You can decide to fuck with independent creators like me, like Scrub Zero here in the chat. You could decide to rock with us, or you could decide to only fuck with Stephen A, or you can now fuck with ESPN Stephen A, or independent Stephen A. Like, that's how this shit is working now. Like, Stephen A has carved it out to where, oh, I have my ESPN content and then I have my content. That's going to be the next level to all this shit. And it's happening right now. Like the McAfee model, everyone took notice when that happened. I can tell you, working in this industry, that McAfee bag shook the table. That FanDuel one, not the ESPN one, although it's a big deal too, but 4 years, 120 mil off the YouTube? Oh, no. If that's what he's able to get over there, and again, that's not even counting just the monetization off of YouTube. So the monetization off YouTube plus the FanDuel bag. So that's why I was a little surprised to me that he walked away from that. Like, I know he had to put in a lot of that 120 for the overhead to run this shit. But I mean, that authority to be the boss, he claims he has that type of autonomy with ESPN, but I can tell you, in this industry, they may tell you that, and they could even put it in writing. That doesn't mean you actually have it. So I hope he got that. Scrub Zero. Shady got some personality, I suppose, but for what I've heard about Drip Bayless behind the scenes, Shady would drive him insane. Oh, and it would work the other way around too. Yeah, Shady has some Shady's a different type of cat. Scrub Zero, I haven't heard anything viable from a substance standpoint with Shady either. Yeah, and I think that, to me, Scrub Zero is the main thing. Is that, again, if you're a former football player and you are a high-level football player, where's the analysis? Can you tell me something? Can I learn something from you? Or are you just going to give me running back tropes? Oh, you got to hit the hole harder. Got to hit the hole faster. No shit, Sherlock. Like, where's the analysis? Why isn't he hitting the hole? Is the hole there and he's not seeing it? Is the O-line not as good as we thought? Like, what's the mindset Take us into the fucking thing. Like, break down this defense. From the running back, you're 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. What are you looking for? Like, that type of shit. I don't know about y'all, but when I'm tuning into an NFL pregame or postgame or just an analysis show, a recap show, whatever, that's what I want to hear. I watched this game for 3.5 hours. Now tell me the things I didn't understand, break those down for me since you actually have done this. But more times than not, we just get lazy narratives and shit that, you know, our uncles can tell us. Snoopy, undisputed. Lakers, Cowboys, Aaron Rodgers bashing, Brady mentioning them, then show over. Here's the thing. You can take out the undisputed part, and that's all the shows. And that's the really unfortunate part. That's all the shows, bro. That is all the shows. That's all the shows. Lakers always hit. Cowboys always hit. Aaron Rodgers is always a thing. And Brady, yeah. Those are big topics. And low key, let's go ahead and keep it real. That shit works here on YouTube too. That shit works here on YouTube too. Like there are people on here that they bring up certain teams because they know if they do that and it hits the algorithm right, those fan bases are going to run the numbers up, good or bad. They're going to run the numbers up. Untamed. I got to be super bored to be watching those shows. I usually watch player pods instead. PG, JJ, Iggy, ET, Q Rich, Matt Barnes, etc. Yeah, I mean, I've dabbled on all those pods at certain points, you know, but for me, it's like, again, after your athlete friends stop pulling up and you've told me every story you're willing to tell, then what? Untamed. Shady was the Kyrie at the running back position, breaking ankles and whatnot. Nah, he was nice. Like, and that's why you would assume with his playing style, you would think the personality would be there. And I think there's something there. I just don't know if it's, 2, 3, 4 hours a day, every day on television good. Like, that's a lot, man. That's a lot of talking. That's the one thing I've learned from doing, this timeline tea every day. Since February or March or whatever, it's like, yo, you really got to come up with shit to talk about and substantial stuff to talk about and have an opinion on it. Like, I can't just pull up a tab and say, all right, Skip Bayless, what do y'all think? And then just sit here and wait for the chat to get lit. I got to set the table, give my opinion, hope my opinion is engaging enough to have y'all continue to watch, hit the like button, maybe subscribe, maybe hit the tip jar, or hit the comments and get involved with the chat. If I was boring as fuck, y'all would be out of here. If I wasn't saying anything substantial or if I wasn't giving y'all a different perspective, y'all would be out of here. And it's a lot. And this is just an hour. I mean, most of the time we go over an hour, but it's like I'm doing 1 to 2 to sometimes 3 hours per stream. Like, I can see how the video game cats can get it off because you're actually doing something actively. You're playing the game and people are watching you play the game. But with this type of shit here, I'm picking stories that I think y'all will be interested in and I as well. And now I have to come up with an opinion that is good, that can make y'all want to tap in and engage with the content in whatever way imaginable. I don't know if Shady got that every day. I'm pulling up and I'm ready with 3 hours of content energy. And I'm not shading him, pun intended, if he doesn't, because that's asking a lot. That's asking a lot, bro. Snoop, Disney has the power to shut out the government. Pat Mack has no chance if Disney wants to change. That's what I'm saying. Like, he went to the top, allegedly, in terms of Bob Iger, and that's cool that he had conversation with Iger. So I'm sure everything is all good now because, they just signed him to the bag. They're about to run the numbers up, and it's going to be all good. But once you're 3 years in, and the numbers have kind of plateaued, I don't know if that relationship you thought you had is going to be as strong at that point. It's strong right now because they gave you the bag and you're tickled pink to get the bag. But after a couple of years, if the numbers ain't consistently getting better, like they're going to get a jump with McAfee. McAfee's going to run the numbers up this year. He's a talent, bro. He's a talent. I'm saying year 2, year 3, like the Manning cast. The Manning cast was, I mean, it was a different type of content, right? A second screen experience, similar to a live stream like this one. Like when we have, our kickbacks, whether it was with the NBA draft or the NFL draft or whatever. It was kind of them doing that on national television. They're doing essentially a live stream of a game, a watch along on ESPN2. They put a lot of money into that. And it's I think it won an Emmy and all that shit. So it's always doing all the things. Oh, and by the way, there's an Emmy back there too. But I mean, it's doing a lot of things that give it the popularity and the credence for it to consistently be promoted and pushed. But what happens when that plateaus though? What happens when when the numbers don't rise anymore and they're kind of just chilling? And the Mannings want to re-up. Because y'all know Peyton and Eli about that bag. So what happens when that is on the table and the bread and the numbers ain't hitting the bread that they're getting paid? They will find a way to get you up out of there. Untamed, controversial take sells, Sam. It always has been that way. No one wants to hear things we already agree with. But is that really true to Untamed? Because if we can all agree that this here is the norm, Lakers, Cowboys, Aaron Rodgers bashing Brady, mentioning then show over. And as I said, this ain't just Undisputed. This is all those shows. We already know what the LeBron take is. We already know what the Cowboy take is. We all more or less know what the Aaron Rodgers and the Tom Brady take is. So is that really true? Is this really true though? Is it controversial? What's controversial? Is it really controversial to say, I'm going to say bad things about LeBron? Is that controversial? Nick Wright saying, I'm going to say LeBron's better than Jordan. Is that controversial? Stephen A. putting on the black hat and tearing down the Cowboys and mocking them when they lose games. Is that controversial? Unc putting on the GOAT mask with a Bron jersey that's 2 sizes too small. Is that controversial? Him drinking Henny and doing whole segments with black and mouths hanging out of his mouth. Is that controversial? So I think people would agree with this take, right? People will agree with this take. My thing is this really actually true though? Because we've been hearing these takes. You can, after a Cowboy loss, you know what Stephen A is going to say for 3 hours, yet you watch anyway. And I'm not saying you as in you directly, Untamed, or anybody else here in the chat. Just saying proverbial you. LeBron chokes away a game. We know what Skip's going to do for the next 3 hours. Yet people watch anyway. Side news, Luka getting married. Oof. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Could be me. Sorry, Luka. With all that money he about to get, couldn't be me. I thought he's supposed to be Slovenian Harden. He is not living up to being Slovenian Harden. Until going to have that husband weight on during the season and shooting 70% free throws again. I mean, he's been putting on that weight before he even got married. Like he's been coming in fat out of shape at least the last 2 regular seasons. So, I mean, just getting married just guarantees it's going to be a 3rd in a row. Untamed. If you say anything about Bron or MJ is controversial, that's crazy. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's just crazy. If that's where we're at, then yeah, the game is ruined. The game is rigged. If that's really where we at. Sliding over to quick Dame update. I know it's a Friday. I know y'all probably got moves to make. If Damian Lillard lands with a team other than the Miami Heat, he won't report to training camp. He just wouldn't go. A person familiar with Lillard's thinking told whatever this company is, he just wouldn't report. I don't think the other team would trade for him knowing that he doesn't want to be there. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, so they should respect his wishes. Why is Dame's media team doing all of this? Why is everyone talking? We were on this live stream on this very YouTube channel during the draft, and when the Blazers took Scoot at 3, I said, okay, how soon before we get the Dame missive from Chris Haynes? And it took 4 to 5 hours for Chris Haynes to unlock his phone and put something out there about Dame. Now, every day we're getting something. Dame don't want to be there. Dame only wants to be in Miami. Dame, who gives a shit that Dame only wants to be in Miami? Who truthfully gives a shit? Like, again, this is going to hurt his legacy. He might not care about that, and that's fine. And I'm usually not that kind of guy. But as someone that likes Dame's game and really enjoys him watching basketball and thinks highly of him as a basketball player, even though we've been, picking apart his frailties on the court over the last week and change, I still respect his game. But this is not a good look, bro. All that you run from the grind and all that talk of loyalty and all that, and now you're doing it just like every other NBA megastar that wants out. You're doing it just like Melo. You're doing it just like the Beard. You're making it messy. You're making it messy. And if you don't care, then cool. You had your subliminals with the Will Smith Miami playing in the background. We got the vibes. It was funny. But every single day putting shit out here or having your peoples push shit out here that you only want Miami, like, all right, dogs, we get it. What you think that this is going to do? You think this is going to curry favor with Blazers fans? You think Blazers fans are going to be picketing outside the new/old Rose Garden to implore the team to just trade Dame for anything? They care about the front of the jersey, not the back. I don't know what's up with bro, but this is not a good look for him, in my opinion. Apparently the talks are heated up, pun intended. I guess so, but can they heat up when he only wants to go to one place? And now Portland has finally said the thing of what they're looking for, and we kind of guessed this on our own. But now we have some reporting done by the Aragonian, and they're out here saying, I'll scroll down to the real part. The Blazers are seeking in the neighborhood of 4 first-round picks and 2 quality players, but accomplishing that could require adding a third team to the equation. We literally have been saying this for a week. We've been on this stream talking about this. When we said, all right, you get the Spurs in there, the Spurs would get Tyler Hero, they'll kick in a couple of picks to the Blazers, and the Heat will kick in a couple of picks to the Blazers. And away we go. They might have to accept some Duncan Robinson. Maybe we throw in a Caleb Martin or whatever, and there you go. And now a week later, the Blazers are seeking in the neighborhood of 4 first-round picks and 2 quality players. Bruh. It's just nonsense, dog. It's nonsense. Like, just get over it, bro. And, Cosplay Kobe, Untamed. Cosplay Kobe was still trying, but the Boston Globe's reporting that the Celtics are no longer interested in pursuing Lillard because they ain't going to get him because he ain't going to show up. He ain't going to show up. Although, I'll say this, though. And it won't happen, but I would love if a team called his bluff. I would love for the Celtics to trade for him and say, yo, dogs, you really not going to run? I'm assuming Jaylen Brown might have to be in that deal, but let's assume he's not. You telling me you only want to hoop with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo when you could go run with Tatum and Brown? Is that really what you're not going to report? You're not going to show up. You love Bam Adebayo that much? If you love Bam Adebayo that much, why did you re-sign last year? Or 2022. Yeah, you re-signed last year for a 2-year extension. You could have said no to that money and then be eligible, like the Beard, to be in a position where you can, have that free agency. But no, you wanted to get one last bag out of Portland and still get to be able to pick where you want to go when you get traded. So he wanted everything. I want all the money, every single last dollar I could get, and you're going to trade me where I want to go. And while normally I'm pro player on these things because this is a job. And if Dame stunk up the joint, the Blazers would cut him in a minute or trade him somewhere else to make him somebody else's problem. So I'm usually all for players getting their money. But if you have this plan of, I'm done here, I want to go hoop with my mans in Miami, then you need to set that up. This clearly has shown that this was not set up. Because the Heat would have been when the Heat knew they were getting LeBron, they made every single move possible the season before to set everything up for LeBron and Bosh to pull up. They traded the guys they needed to trade. They cut the guys that they needed to cut. They moved draft picks to open up roster spots. They did everything they had to do to make sure that when Bron and Bosh pull up, it's seamless. If Dame always wanted to go to Miami because he loves Bam Adebayo, why didn't the Heat get this thing lined up and make whatever things known to Portland to say, hey, this is going to happen whether you want to or not. Let's get ahead of this. Instead of all of this has been happening, the regular season ends, postseason ends, draft lottery, draft combine, draft night. That goes through beginning of free agency, first day of free agency, second day of free agency. Oh, now I want to request a trade. And I only want to go to Miami. Like, what the fuck are we doing here, bro? You knew you always wanted to go there. So we have that. Britney Spears and Victor Wembanyama. I mean, I don't care, but I pulled it just in case. Much to do about nothing. She over-exaggerated what actually happened. No charges going to be pressed. Ime Udoka reportedly had zero interest in coaching James Harden. Ime said, quote, "It's not going to work here." So Ime put the foot down. Now, we've also had the report of during the coaching interviews that the Rockets were asking everyone that pulled up, hey, how do you feel about the beard? James Harden potentially might be a target for us in free agency. How do you feel about that? And allegedly, a lot of coaches were kind of, 50-50 with it in terms of being there to coach the beard up. Ime, and I spoke about this on ESPN Radio on, Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, with the homie Greg Larnard. From what I was told this I was told this last week. Right? So when I went on ESPN Radio on Wednesday, I told the homie Greg Larnard, like, yo, I don't know if this is the beard losing interest or both sides came to a head and said, oh yeah, this just isn't going to work. Ime might have been, I don't know about this whole thing. It's not going to work here. I think if the front office would have made the move anyway, he would have figured it out. but his preference was to not have James Harden in the mix, and that's pretty much what I was told as well last week. So glad to see that come to light, but it is what it is. It's a minor story. Scoot and Steph working out. We keep the Scoot and Steph working out. Now, all of this is cute, right? This will make Scoot better. What I want to see is Scoot pulling from 30. I need to see that. If Scoot's pulling from 30, working with Steph, then these are viable workouts. To me, these are just okay workouts. These are cool. This is shit you can do with anybody. It doesn't have to be with Steph. But I need to see Scoot shooting 33s from 30 feet out. Because if he gets that in his arsenal, it's game over. It's game over. So there's that. All right, so since I see some football going on in the chat, let's go ahead and slide over to our football topic. This is courtesy of our guy, Ari. He was huge with us in NFL free agency, keeping us up to speed. Which NFL team has the best number 2 wide receiver entering this season? And I didn't forget, Untamed, you out here, Jalen Waddle, 100%, no competition. Now, there was that video floating around on the timeline of Jalen Waddle going crazy, getting open. So he's certainly in this conversation, right? Brandon Ayuk is nice with it. Bateman is down here. Mike Williams, the oft-injured Mike Williams, is down here. I see Tyler Lockett here, and I'm going to keep asking this question. Are we sure Tyler Lockett is really the number 2 in Seattle? You see Godwin here. Devonta Smith. And we got T. Higgins. I think from my POV, if my quarterback, let me see here. All right, I can definitely tell you who it's not, right? In my opinion. Let me get the squiggly line. It's not Godwin. It's not Mike Williams. It's not Bateman. It's not Ayuk. I think it's this middle row. I think the debate is really about this middle row. Because there's some things I like about Higgins that doesn't necessarily translate with Waddle and vice versa. And then you have Tyler Lockett, who doesn't look the part, but just always produces, right? And he's now produced with not just Russell Wilson, but now with Geno as well. That's something these two guys can't say. T. Higgins got Joe Burrow, and Waddle's got Tua. Let me see. I'll tell you, saying T is second. Okay. So he's got Waddle, then T. I really like Lockett, but he's not it either. So let me get the telestrator. He's not it either. He's just not Lockett. It's coming down to Waddle and T. Higgins. I think I'm gonna go with T. I think I'm gonna go with T. Higgins. And as Untamed said, it's to me it's close. It's real close. Waddle has the explosion. He's got the route running. He's got the speed. Higgins to me adds that size dynamic though that I really covet in a wide receiver. So I'm gonna go with T. Higgins. Untamed's going with Jalen Waddle. Y'all let us know here in the chat. Which NFL team has the best number 2 wide receiver entering this season? Now, is there somebody missing from this list? Is this other actually in play? I'm trying to think of a number 2 wide receiver that should be on this list. Like Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson, if he was in the mix here, I like Jahan Dotson a lot. If you get Jahan Dotson, that to me would really shake things up. Because I like Dotson more than Devonta Smith. To me, he's in that. He's right in this mix with Waddle and T. Higgins if we're putting Jahan Dotson in here. Untamed, I got Waddle, T, D. Smith in that order. Okay, now what if I put Dotson on here? Do you still got D. Smith over Jahan Dotson? Higgins killed a man with his shoulder. Boy, it's scary. Nah, Higgins, that's what I'm saying. His size at that position, as much as Waddle is dynamic with the speed and the route running, just that size on Higgins, man, scary. Scary hours. Spooky. So I felt that was a nice little something to pull up and do. Let's see. Let's check the timeline. I'm glad we were able to have that sports media conversation. I'm glad we were able to do that. Again, where else are you going to get that? That's like an unbiased point of view. Jaguars are signing Josh Peterson, son of head coach Doug Peterson. Nepotism. Josh Allen got a shorty with the cheeks out. Okay. Big Josh Allen. Nothing much there. Allegedly, Brady and Kim K. It's a thing, allegedly. Why would anyone be surprised knowing how she moves? Let's see. Mark Ingram gets a job out here. Another former player. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, we're done with that. What about NBA Central? Same nonsense. Okay, nothing really there. Okay. Victor Wembanyama plays basketball tonight. For those who are unaware, damn, Jordan Poole grew a beard that quick. Okay. Y'all see that video Steph sent out thanking Jordan Poole? Disingenuous. Oh, this is what Legion was telling us. Anna Maria. That's her name, Anna Maria. Okay. 7-7. Oh, so that's why he did that. Okay. Hey, respect. Respect the shooter. Trez Harrell is back in the league. All right, that's enough for that. Let's go to Legion. Might be a weekend. Might be time for the weekend, y'all. Let's see. Doris Burke. Is Drake still trying to holler at Doris Burke? Or that's over now? Slam ball is back. I think the highlights look better than actually watching this. I don't know if I could actually sit and watch a whole ass game of slam ball. Young Reaper. Salute the Young Reaper. He repping out here. All right, I think we're about done today, folks. We can hit that weekend nice and early. Let's see. So if you missed it in the beginning, won't be doing Timeline T every single day. Gonna take a break. Like I said earlier, I've been doing this stream since February, damn near every single day. So I'm gonna take a break. Still going to be producing content. The DCMD podcast will be most likely where you'll find me, which is on this channel. I'll still be doing video only content as well. If you're into technology, if you're into all that type of stuff, I'm going to be doing a mix of that here. So I'm going to be giving you sports takes, but also because of my knowledge working in media, I learned how to build my own equipment up and, put this whole show together, how it looks, how it operates. I've been able to build all of that from scratch. So I want to teach creators who also want to do this how to do it. So you could tap into that content, but I am still going to be providing sports content. So it's not like I'm going away or whatever, or I'm going to be switching up. When the beard stuff happens, you'll get a live stream. When the Dame trade becomes official, you'll get a live stream. But the everyday minutia, I'm going to take a break on that. Unlike Skip, it's for legitimate reasons. And we'll be back at it once football gets back up and rolling, towards the end of preseason, all that stuff. We'll be jumping in. But I'll be hopping in, doing live streams from time to time, just not the every single day, 4 p.m. Eastern, locked and loaded. So I appreciate all of y'all who have found me through clips, through shorts, through live streams. Continue to support. I appreciate it. Y'all give me the confidence to keep coming back here every single day. There was some days where I did not want to pull up. There was some days where it was not a lot going on. I would be searching deep into the timeline to find something to talk about that I feel y'all would want to, get into. So I appreciate any one of y'all who have viewed this, any one of y'all that have dropped a like on this, any one of y'all that have subscribed to this. Really appreciative of it, giving me the confidence to come in here and talk my shit, talk my talk, and build a community here. So we're going to continue to do that. So the next time I'll see y'all is probably on a separate clip or a short or on the DCMD podcast or whenever the hell the Miami Heat do the right thing and just give up what's needed to be given up to go get Damian Lillard. So y'all be safe this weekend. I will catch y'all around the way, which is this channel, the DCMD channel. Y'all be good. Peace.